In a quiet little town, tucked away between rolling hills, stood a very old library. It was a kind of old that felt ancient, a place that remembered a time of inkwells and news arriving by horseback. This was Marta's world. She was a librarian, and she loved everything about it: the profound silence, the comforting scent of dust and old paper. She often spoke to the books, as if they were old friends who might just whisper back. And sometimes she swore they did. One rainy evening, as the town outside fell silent, Marta heard something unusual from a distant corner of the library. It wasn't the familiar creak of a floorboard or the soft rustle of pages turning. It was a whisper, a quiet, clear whisper. "You're late," it said. Marta froze. The library was empty. She had locked the doors herself. She moved cautiously between the towering shelves, the dim lamp overhead casting long, dancing shadows. The whisper seemed to come from the oldest section, where books without titles or authors rested, their stories forgotten. There, on a dusty shelf, lay a thin gray book she'd never seen before. The cover was completely blank, save for a small, silver key drawn in the corner. As she drew closer, the whisper came again, this time from the book itself. "Open me." Her heart pounded in her chest, a mix of fear and an irresistible pull of curiosity. She swallowed hard, her fingers trembling slightly as she reached for it. Gently, she opened the book. The pages were empty, utterly blank. "Is that all?" she murmured, a little disappointed. But then, something magical happened. Words began to appear on the first page, materializing from nowhere, as if written in invisible ink that was only now revealing itself. "This is a story about a girl who was afraid to change her life." A shiver traced its way down Marta's spine. The words kept flowing onto the page. She worked in a library. Every day she dreamed of traveling, but never dared to leave her hometown. This is about me," Marta whispered, her voice barely audible. The book seemed to pause, as if waiting for her. The pages remained half empty, a story clearly unfinished. Then, a new line appeared, hanging in the space below the last. One evening, she found a book that could change everything. Marta let out a nervous laugh. The page below was still pristine white. A moment later, more words bloomed into existence. "The decision is up to you." Absolute silence fell over the library. Even the rain outside seemed to hold its breath. Marta stood there, thinking. It was true. For years, she had dreamt of seeing the world, the vastness of the sea, the majesty of the mountains, the bustling life of faraway cities. But she always found an excuse to stay. Stability, fear, the comfortable grip of habit. "What if I do nothing?" she asked the silent room. As if in answer, new text appeared on the page. "Then the story will end the same way it began." Marta took a deep, shuddering breath. She pictured herself in 10 years, standing in this exact spot, surrounded by the same shelves. Would she be content? Or would she be haunted by a quiet, gnawing regret? Her eyes fell on the pen lying on her desk. She picked it up, its familiar weight a small comfort in her hand. After a second of hesitation, she leaned over the open book and wrote a single word on the blank page. Next, the moment her ink touched the paper, the word began to glow with a soft, silver light. The book itself seemed to exhale a sigh of relief. The pages started to fill with text, racing across the paper, a whirlwind story of a train journey, a new city, a first nervous hello, a first challenge, and a first triumph. Marta saw flashes of a life she'd only imagined, the shimmering sea she'd never seen, winding cobblestone streets, a new job, the smiles of new friends. Slowly, the book closed on its own. Marta looked at the cover. It was no longer blank, in elegant, silver script. It now read, Marta's Story. The next morning, Marta arrived at the library earlier than usual. She walked straight to the shelf where she'd found the magical book, but it was gone. In its place stood another, just as gray, just as nameless. That same day, Marta went to the train station and bought a ticket. She wasn't doing it because a book told her to. She was doing it because she finally understood. Sometimes your story doesn't just happen to you. You have to be the one to write it. And the old library, it continued to stand between the hills, whispering its secrets to those who were ready to listen. And somewhere, on a dusty shelf, a new gray book was waiting, ready for someone else to pick it up and write their own first line. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.